Ashes is done and dusted in 11 days. Australia have secured the urn with 2 tests left. Before the series started, many were claiming this Australian side to be the worst in some time and England side to be the best in the same. Well, the supposed worst side have comprehensively hammered the supposed best side, and this has been a proper hammering. England have been nowhere near good enough. While many things have been said and written about this England side, the one thing that is not being mentioned is Ben Stokes as a captain. Many are raving about him fighting alone, saying one guy can't pull the teammates every single time. But I see the opposite. In the realm of cricket and Test cricket, Ben Stokes has been an average captain. This isn't an anti-Ben Stokes argument. It's actually more respectful than blind praise. Because calling someone great in Test cricket means holding them to the highest, most uncomfortable standards the format demands. And Stokes has been nowhere near what the Test demands. And Test cricket is cruel that way. It exposes what emotions hide. First and foremost, Ben Stokes is a great leader. But he was a leader way before he was the England captain, putting his hand up to be the guy to get the job done when needed, putting the body on the line. Over my dead body kind of attitude, be it with the bat and ball. Never doubted his heart and his fight. Never will. One thing you can count on him is his effort, his hard work, especially with the ball and in the field. His batting has been up and down, especially recently, and at times some hype moments, couple of big moments have pulled wool over our eyes and made us believe him to be more than he actually is. Having said that, teams still fear that he can take the game away. England are still in the contest when he is on the pitch with bat or ball, and that itself is no mean feat. When he became the captain of England in 2022, it was about the brand of cricket he wanted his team to play. Fearless cricket, put the opponents under pressure all the time. If they put you under pressure, give it back to them and then some more. Play on the front foot. Remove that fear. Take the fear of failure away. Players don't fail because they lack skill. They fail because they are afraid. England stopped playing not to lose. They started playing like a side that believed it belonged in every contest. That psychological shift was real. And they were off to a blistering start. 3-0 win against New Zealand in their home turf. They hammered the reigning Test champions and everyone in England started getting behind them for the way they played. They were coined as the saviors of Test cricket and many started assuming they are inventing something new and fresh. Another series win against South Africa in a couple of months' time reinstated and reinforced that. More so when they won the 3-match Test series after losing the first one. This side is fearless, this side doesn't flinch, this side sees the challenge eye to eye and thrives when the back is against the wall. Later that year, they travelled to Pakistan. The pitches were like highways and the England batters were pressing the accelerator, keeping the foot down for fun. The rate that they were batting meant it allowed England time to take 20 wickets in each of the 3 Test matches, hence winning the series 3-0 in Pakistan. This was revolutionary. Many claimed this as the rebirth of Test cricket. They travelled to New Zealand in February and were just a couple of runs away from beating them in their own yard. But Kiwis claimed a 1-run win in the second test and the series was tied 1-1. The praise knew no limits. Everyone was on the edge of their seats, fascinated, heart on mouth stuff. Almost too much adrenaline, but it was alright. They were winning and playing to win. One-off test against Ireland in June was a mere formality. The biggest test so far awaited them as Ashes in England was in a fortnight. The first test in Birmingham, the tourists edged past the hosts by 2 wickets. The game was close and England were in with a chance, so can't fault them. Second test. The tourists won at the Lords by 43 runs. Oh no! 2 close defeats, yes, but they are losses nonetheless and the hosts are 1 loss away from losing the Ashes and the urn. The Bairstow run-out, which was well within the law of the game, was the talking point of the match and something England fans and pundits believed will help galvanize the English team. Third test. Another close match. But England on the right side of the result this time. Maybe that incident did galvanize them. Ashes series well and truly alive. Fourth test. England were bossing the game and Wren played the spoils. And match ended up as a draw. Fifth Test. England had everything to play for, or else the Ashes is gone. At the end of the play on day 4, the visitors were 135 for 0 and looking comfortable in their chase of 384. But the controversial ball change brought the hosts back in the game, which they eventually won by 49 runs. Series was tied, but some cracks were visible in the England side and the way they played for the first time in a year. Australia could have won the series in England for the first time in almost a quarter of a century, but no place for Uda Kuda Suda. Meanwhile, kudos to England for bouncing back after trailing in the series 0-2 after the first 2 tests, showing this team does want to fight and not go down easily. But the one thing common so far in the run of this England side was the batting-friendly pitches. It suited their stroke makers and dashers and aggressive style of play, and they were feasting on it. However, there were doubts if this style could sustain in spicy and spin-friendly decks. India was a massive challenge for them. In January of 2024, they beat India by 24 runs in Hyderabad. Oh, this style does travel. But this lasted for a week more, which was the gap between the first and the second test. India countered back in the second test with 106 runs win. In the third test, the hosts schooled the visiting team, winning by 434 runs. Won the series in the fourth test by beating England by 5 wickets. And then they delivered the body blow in the final test by beating the England side by an innings and 64 runs. England had failed their biggest challenge yet, and it was nasty. They failed, and how? They did get their league back against West Indies, but beating West Indies, that too in England itself, was almost a foregone conclusion. The shocker was James Anderson forced into the retirement after the first match of the series itself, as England leadership wanted to build the team for 2025-26 away Ashes in Australia. They wanted the pacers who could consistently clock 140 plus to beat Australia in Australia for the first time after 2010-11. His last 2 series were not as per his highest standards, but before that he picked up 39 wickets at 17.62 under the same regime. He was also willing to push himself for the away Ashes, but they said, "Thank you for your services, Jimmy." England were to tour Pakistan again in October. They were off to a thumping start. They buried Pakistan in a mountain of runs in the featherbed of Multan and secured a massive win of an innings and 47 runs. But Pakistan changed the syllabus completely come second test. They played the spin twins of Sajid Khan and Noman Ali in a spin-friendly track and beat the tourists by 152 runs. Third test at Rawalpindi was more of the same. No flat track, spinning deck, and the hosts win by 9 wickets to claim the series 2-1. Now, the cracks were getting more open. They toured New Zealand yet again, and they won the series 2-1 this time. The only test against Zimbabwe was a mere formality, and it proved to be the same. Then followed the mammoth 5-match series against India. Indian team were a team in transition. No Kohli, no Rohit Sharma, no Ashwin, no Shami. The likes of Pujara and Rahane were already gone. Young Shubman Gill was leading the side for the first time. England sent the message in the first test, winning it by 5 wickets. But India are no pushovers in away tests these days. They fought back and beat Stokes men in the second test by comprehensive margin of 336 runs. Lord's hasn't been a happy hunting ground for England over the years. This time, it was different. They beat India by 22 runs in a thriller. Fourth test, Stokes wanted to shake hands with India to call it a day. But India said, "We will," once our batters get their hundreds after plugging away for hours. Final test, every result was possible, and another thriller. This time, India did one better by beating England by 6 runs and tied the series 2-2. Probably the ideal result given the way both teams played. But India could have won the series had they been slightly more clinical. But if my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike. That was an enthralling series. Now the focus was set on the Ashes. Many England fans and pundits believed this England team to be the best since 2010-11 and also claimed the Australian side to be their worst in some time. Well, the series is done and dusted with 2 more matches left. And as per Ben Stokes, they have still got so much more to play for, and they are going to give absolutely everything for these last 2 games. Just a couple of weeks back, the world was imploring them to rein it in, play the situation, have some common sense and cricketing awareness. But they were too haughty to listen or to adapt. And when they finally started showing some sense, series was already sent. Stokes was raved for being brave, putting price on his wicket, but his tendency to go in a cell usually does more harm than the good. Everyone was getting out playing attacking cricket, and here he was getting praised for self-preservation. No? If he wanted others to follow the suit and do the same, why were others not doing it? Were the players selected not good enough, or was the message not conveyed to them properly? Whichever way you put it, that is not good captaincy, not good leadership. While his batters are getting annihilated for playing the brand he was advocating for, the media is fawning over him for delaying the inevitable. Yes, the batters were not up to the par by any means, but so wasn't Ben Stokes and the leadership group including Bazball and Robke. Even Baz has been put under the sword. However, the narrative is that Ben has done his all, but others have not. Physically maybe he has, but in other facets of the game, that too as a captain, no, he has not. This thrashing was always coming. The England team and the fans couldn't see it coming because they were so wrapped up in the cocoon of their own hype that they were not aware of the reality outside. And now the reality has hit hard. The series they were preparing for in the last 3 years is gone, and all that is left is the shreds of their bruised ego and burst cocoon. England's team was built on batting and confidence on their batting. Bat first, we'll bat you out of the game. Bat last, we'll chase any target in front of us. However, after the repeated failure outside of featherweight tracks, it feels they tried to con their supporters because that was not confidence, but arrogance. Australia has had some spice on the decks in the last few years, unlike the flat tracks in England. Boland and Nesser are not express, but they have found success in the limited opportunities here because of their discipline, persistence, metronomic precision, relentlessness, and the ability to bowl long spells, all of which England lacked for the majority of the series. Anderson could have been more than handy on these pitches since his pedigree and skill are unquestionable, and he was more than willing to tour to Australia. He can still bowl at a decent pace, and that too in long spells. England not only lacked his skills but his mentorship, presence and leadership as well. Stokes looked like their best bowler in the series against India. It has been the same here alongside Archer. Yes, he was bowling his heart out and doing that through the niggles. But the captaincy is not about doing everything on his own. It is about empowering batters and bowlers alike. So while him bowling, putting his body on the line is lion-hearted and should be acknowledged, what about guiding the bowlers to bowl well with proper strategies and field placement? What about having faith in them? The English batters played like hitting a boundary every ball. The bowling strategy seemed like going for the wicket every ball. And they got exposed on the both fronts. And how? Anderson, with his plethora of experience, would have been a boon for the side on the pitches that had something on offer for the bowlers. He could have been in the ear of the bowlers while fielding in the mid-off and set the example himself while bowling. However, he is in the studio in England covering the Ashes with the producers in his ear. Stokes seems to play too much with the field and field placement, at times unnecessarily, as he plays to the gallery, just like the way he reacts every time he gets dismissed. Nope, you don't get a worldie each time you bat, Stokesy. Stop trying to make others think that they are. He makes regular changes in the field to make it look like he is proactive and in control. It might seem that he is trying to upset the batsmen, but it upsets his own bowlers more than the batters. England team has ripped the tradition and orthodoxy out of their manual, not only in their batting but also in their bowling and selection. Bowling consistently in the channel, in and around top of off, challenging the opponent's defense seems too boring and too conventional for them. So funky fields and then short bowling have often been his go-to option. Not a great tactician that some claim him to be. He says the Aussies were consistent, but why did his own lacked the same? When asked, he said it was not because of the lack of skill. If not that, then what? The stubbornness that we can get you out no matter what? On the other hand, if they lack the skill to bowl, then who picked these bowlers, axing the third highest wicket taker in Test history? County cricket and performances there have not meant much. Players have been selected and kept based on the hunch and intuition. Shoaib Bashir was playing as the frontline spinner, with Nathan Lyon as the template for the Ashes in Australia specifically. But when the time came, he was nowhere to be seen near the 11. A batsman who bowls part-time off-spin has been preferred over him. Bowling has been an afterthought for this regime in a way. and having jacks at 8 confirms that, even though they may say otherwise. Did they go wrong not picking Bashir in 11? Or were they wrong playing him all this time? The likes of Jack Leach and Liam Dawson, who have done quite good in the county, have been sidelined in favour of Bashir. And then that Australia is no place for weak men comment in the middle of the series, with series still on the line. That was not a great example either. You do that inside the dressing room or say that to your players privately, not out in the open. It is usually the touring side against the whole of Australia in Ashes Down Under. Saying so out and loud in the media may sound honest and raw, but it does not bode well for the team. The Australian media are out there for your blood and you give them a fodder to feast on. They are going to have a field day with such comments and widen the cracks if they see one. And boy, they did. Before and during the series, England players, ex-players and media kept giving the ammo, and the ones on the other side have lapped it up. And they did it so good that now, after 11 days of cricket, the Ashes, the urn that they supposedly worked for, planned for years, has gone. They have been outplayed and outclassed in all facets of the game, despite Hazelwood not featuring in a game. He was arguably bowling his best before the series. No Cummins for first 2 tests, no Lyon for second, no Steve Smith in third. Cameron Green wishes he could buy a run, a debutant opening batter, a fresh pair of opening batters, won the toss 2 out of 3 times, and yet they have been decimated by the Aussies. And if they continue with this recklessness, stubbornness and lack of cricketing awareness, then 5-0 is still very much on the cards. But no worries, because even if they do, Ben Stokes will be doing it with a smile. No test championships, not even a final, tied the Ashes in England, tied the series against India in England, thumped in India, beaten in Pakistan, and now this thrashing in Australia. But plenty of moral victories. Ben Stokes, you are a great leader but not a great captain. A captain who the teammates would go to war for, but likely lose the war because your tactics usually go up in the smoke.